Beautiful people, it is your favorite blogger and your favorite MC, Miss Trish here with the sit down. Yes.
I thought I was their favorite MC.
No, times have changed. With this Pat Dillon today, Pat Dillon-MOORE. That is more. So we're going to sit down, we're going to talk, stay tuned, grab your coffees, grab your drinks, and we're going to have a good time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm with the one and only Pat Dillon-MOORE. Pat Dillon-MOORE, how you feeling?
I'm good. I mean, this subject matter is close to my heart, and it's serious. And so with this project, I want to make a change because our community and our children, and by our, I mean Francophone and Anglophone,
that's right,
have to be better and do better because we pay taxes. Boy, do we pay
taxes like crazy. Okay, so wait, let's backtrack a bit. So for those of who don't know Pat Dillon-MOORE, tell them who you are.
Longtime broadcaster at Boom Boom Time, actress. I use art imaginator. I do a lot of things. Anything that is art relevant. I am about to retire from the Canadian film industry where I've been for 40 years. And anything that's social and political advocacy for all people and artists, but more in particular, the Black community of Montreal.
Right. That's amazing. So recently, Pat has done a podcast by the name of Black Education in Quebec. And it's a 9-part podcast series, produced by the LaSalle Multicultural Resource Center, aimed at enriching the Quebec educational landscape, correct? So on this podcast, I realized that you actually interview retired teachers. Why was that the driving force behind this podcast?
Well, if we jump back to 2021, Dr. Lerona Dana Lewis and Gloria Anna Cozier did a study in 2021 called Changing Black Children's Future.
Right.
And what they found, they didn't go in to find this, but they found there was a lot of systemic racism in policy and practices in Quebec schools. Now, the government, our government, we Lego, the man we name after a toy, doesn't believe there's systemic racism in Quebec. But now, with numbers, when you have academics pull numbers and give you big data, now you could say, okay, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
The next option was to use the podcast as another means of data collection. And for sure, we see, similar to the 1970s, that the changing face of Montreal is quite similar to then. And what did those teachers do when they had to fight their way into becoming teachers in the 60s and 70s? And so they have a lot of tricks in their bags. They also are among some of the best educated teachers. We didn't get to talk to a lot of them. But those who I know, when you look at them, they never stop going to school, many of them. So that we can, and parents, when a principal calls you in, you hear some of the things that they have done anecdotally. And as a parent who is advocating for their children, did you try this? First of all, you have to give, when you go into a school with a principal, I used to give them this face. Yes, and from my daughter Storm Zane, because I had to push for special needs education. 100%. And with Alicia, and when you sit down and you know skid teeth laughing with them, first they start to stammer. Right. But oftentimes I've been able to have people work with me. Now we're hearing of cases, particularly in LaSalle, in Francophone schools, that the principal, when a child who is complaining for bullying, they feel it's okay to call the police on a 7-year-old boy. And this has become the norm. They're sitting with police officers who, for sure, Police have a role in education because if there's a pedophile in the area, principals, and we need to know that.
Right.
But where you have police on speed dial because you don't know, first of all, if you're a principal, you're about 6 times that little boy's 50-pound weight.
Of course, come on.
Right? I've seen some of them principals. This cannot continue. And parents are having problems, particularly newer parents, navigating. What do you do when? So there are a lot of things. I would say when you go to the end of the series, because we upload every week, it's the teacher who's in school now. She's the only one who wanted to talk frank. Too many Black teachers refused to interview with me because of fear for their job.
Of course.
Things are going on in all of the school boards. I'm not saying it's rampant. We still have a lot of Black students that excel, but no child should be traumatized going to school.
Given that we're almost back to school, I think it's within next week and stuff like that. What do you think, what steps can parents take to try to avoid this, put a voice to this? What do you think they can do?
First thing first, LaSalle Multicultural Resource Center is offering some fabulous programs this fall, one of which is to empower parents.
Wonderful.
The other is, and I can't say yet because they're going to launch big.
Got you.
So get in touch with LaSalle Multicultural Resource Center. The other thing is there's this thing about coding your children, signing incident reports. Do not sign them.
And why is that?
Because it goes into a file, follows your child throughout high school, then CJEP, then university. And if you tap it, don't sign it. And if a principal is not meeting with you, try the board. Now, there are some boards.
Some boards, yes, keep going. Keep going. Some boards. We're speaking transparently. Some boards, yes.
Some boards prefer to call their lawyer when they got called out.
Oh, wow.
They lawyer up.
Oh, boy.
Because they're afraid of being called. But what can you call it when you call police on a 7-year, the child not throwing nothing, not cursing, not flinging anything, not thumping anybody.
7 years old. Wow. And how do you believe the insights shared from these teachers can help shape the future of education of Black students in Quebec?
One, I think we need to celebrate and understand and recognize as a people, we never just come here for a long time. We have built this province and we have had a whole host of teachers who built the educational system. Many have died. Many have been retired for more than 20 years. And a lot of the initiatives like Gwen Lord, who there's some men, they're 65, 66-year-old, white, black, whatever race from Northmount. You say Gwen Lord, and they say, if I never that teacher there, their eyes glaze over. What was the role of the Black liaison officer?
Gotcha.
There are a lot more to do. This isn't going to do everything, but I want to say this. I party like the next person. We cannot only be seen in our social media spaces with pushing jokes, parties, XYZ. We do have to fight back.
Absolutely.
I'm hearing that there are people up in the Lego government who said that the Black Anglophone community is okay with Bill 96. Why? We didn't hit the streets. They don't see us. Stop sitting and waiting for the big mouths like me. I've been doing this since I'm 15. The other thing is there are so many freedom fighters who put things in place.
Absolutely.
We're spitting on their legacy. Education is key. And it doesn't matter if you have a child in school or not. We need to be advocating. Lastly, the school board elections are coming.
When are they? Tell people when they are.
November sometime. I think within the first 2 weeks of November.
Okay.
Look for it.
Right.
Go. If you have a child in school, fight your way onto the governing boards. It cannot be me, Dr. Lashley, my darling, over Sven Telemark.
Yes.
Come.
Yeah.
It needs everyday parents, right? And Anglophone, Francophone. Remember, we have a great educational system, but we need to call them on it.
Absolutely. I have another question for you. So recently I read a study that said young Anglophones would be better off leaving Quebec. What are your thoughts on that?
Then for Gwe. You know many times.
In English.
We need to move along. No, here's the thing.
I got you.
I cannot tell you how many times my boss told me that.
Yeah? Okay.
Right? I see where people have ceded space for many Francophone people when they go off in English spaces around the world and they do this, oh, pardon my mistress.
Yes.
My English is that good.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. We built this place. We can go as far back as Marie-Angelique. Our tax dollars, we need to fight for it. And tell them, go with that. Was the Rasta man on my boy? What's him?
Who's that?
Maja Hype.
Oh,
move up with that. Move up with that. No, they're out of order. If you take my tax dollars, yes, a lot of us. On parle français.
Oui, on parle français. We speak French. We live here,
J'avais
right?
fait mon éducation à Royal Vale.
That's it.
What happens? Look at my daughter Storm. She did not ask to be born special needs.
Right.
And now she has to be suffering under the yoke of some of these bills. We need to roast Trudeau the son foot because the poopa never handle with so. No, I'm calling it.
No, where listen, there's a big movement. She is calling it. Last question, because there's a question that you asked someone on your third episode of your podcast, and you said, if you had the power to change anything in this world when it came to the Black education in Quebec, what would you change?
Lego.
Period.
No, Lego.
Yeah. And do you want to elaborate on why you would change Lego?
The mere fact that it's political expedience, I don't believe for a second that he doesn't believe that there is systemic racism.
I believe he knows exactly what it is.
It's political expedience to get the 450 who are traumatized by anything brown and other.
Right.
And they keep othering us. So it is of no use. We used to fear René Lévesque, but René Lévesque wasn't like that. He had an inordinate amount of respect for a lot of the initiatives. And we've had community leaders who sat with them. Politically, we did not align.
Right.
There was also the historical meeting with not Bouchard, the one who lose his foot. It could be Bouchard. It is Bouchard, right? Where they met at Centaur, right? We need to have our institutions push back,
right?
Because we keep rolling over,
right?
And it is about extinct. They want to either, what's the word that they like? When you fall into assimilate,
right?
Or community genocide, right? We need that party to go.
Okay. And where can they find your podcast?
Anywhere where podcasts are all popular. So Spotify. Apple Podcasts. But enter ckut.ca/Black education and share.
Exactly.
Because we want a worldwide conversation, because what some of the data is showing in terms of education initiatives, Quebec is behind Ontario.
Are we behind everywhere else or only Ontario? Let's talk about it, because there are people who don't know. We'll always compare to Ontario, but there's other provinces. Are we behind as a whole, or is it just after Ontario?
You know, Dr. Lerona Dana Lewis would be the one, because she has committed those numbers to heart. But I remember when Coronation School, which was considered inner city school was the top in maths in Quebec and parts of Canada.
Right. Of course. Pat Dillon-Moore, we want more of you, so you better come back and sit back with me and talk about more of your life and your journey. But this is where we're at right now. So
and shout out to the promoters. Promoters, it's all nice to have all these parties and everything, but some of you have children, some of you are going to have grandchildren.
Right.
It cannot be left to influencers and broadcasters and the old guard. I find it very disturbing.
Yes.
Extremely, that we're not seeing enough advocacy work. I'm calling it like it is.
Of course, and that's what we like about you.
Tell them call me.
That's okay. That's what we like about you. That's what we like about you. Thank you, Ms. Pat Dillon-Moore. We appreciate you. Make sure to listen to our podcast and Boom Boom Time on Sundays. Oh, one more thing.
Hold on. Yes. It's not mine. It's co-hosted with Global TV's Phil Carpenter.
There you go. It is.
He did some, I did some.
The first three, I mostly heard your voice, though. To be honest with you, that's the reason why I'm only saying that. But there's six more.
And men, he has some great people who he talked to. I can't wait. There is a French episode this week that's up, but very illuminating.
He's amazing, though. I listened to it's the third episode. And actually, he's a historian, I believe he is. Yes, amazing. You guys definitely have to
thought that because blacks who spoke French were okay.
I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing. So anyways, Ms. Pat Dillon-Moore, once again, thank you. You are a legend. We appreciate you. You're amazing. We love what you're doing.
Legends are,
That's just, listen. Bye. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely stay tuned for more.
Thank you for using your platform. It's important.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Anytime. I got you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.